Let's have some more news. Driver from Mexico with a Mexican passport nabbed once again for operating a vehicle without a driver's license. Father gets arrested for smacking his 18-year-old son for talking back to him. A village resident in more hot water after their latest arrest. A Facebook photo gets a stonecruster arrested. Man heading to prison after stealing a fire truck. An unlicensed driver from Brazil is arrested at Oxford Oaks. A villager was killed in a crash that left 4 others seriously injured. A clerk who sold beer to underage clients says he's only been in the country for 2 days. Wildwood to have their first New Year's fireworks this Friday. Softball evaluations for the winter season begins January 9. How many holes in ones do we get this week? Letters to the editor. This and more coming up. This week's news is brought to you by my Patreon and YouTube members. Thanks, guys. A driver with a Mexican passport was nabbed for operating a vehicle without a license. Francisco Nuez Garcia, 34 of Wildwood, was driving a gray Nissan passenger vehicle at 5:40 a.m. Monday on US 301 and County Road 204 when a check of the vehicle's Florida license plates revealed the vehicle's registered owner does not have a valid driver's license. During a traffic stop, Garcia handed the deputy a Mexican passport and indicated he does not speak English. He also presented a deputy with a Mexican driver's license. A check confirmed that Garcia has never been issued a driver's license in the United States. He was arrested on a charge of driving without a license. He was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $500 bond. An unlicensed driver from Brazil was apprehended at the entrance of Oxford Oaks. Lucas D. Olivier Moreau, 25, was driving a 2015 Nissan Versa at about 10:30 a.m. Wednesday southbound on 301. When he was pulled over at the entrance to the family development when an officer checked the license plates and found it had expired and was not assigned to a vehicle. During a traffic stop, D. Olivier Morio handed the officer a passport from Brazil. The officer asked D. Olivier Morio how long he has been in the United States, and he replied, since 2019. It was confirmed that D. Olivier Morio does not have a driver's license issued in the United States. D. Olivier Morio was arrested on charges of driving without a license and failure to register a motor vehicle. He was taken into custody and booked at the Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $1,000 bond. A father has been arrested for smacking his 18-year-old son who talked back to him. Timothy Allen Hank, 45 of Ocklawaha, was arrested at his home Sunday after his son reported there had been an ongoing physical and verbal disturbance all weekend. They were in the garage when Hank, who stands 6 foot 4 inches tall, smacked his son in the face. The son headed for the living room, but his father was hot on his heels. Hank's son pushed him, and the older man retaliated by smacking his son again, the report said. The teen's mother said Hank has anger issues and often lashes out. The report noted that there have been prior domestic calls for service at that home. Hank was arrested on a charge of battery and booked at the Marion County Jail. He was released on his own recognizance. A village's resident is in more hot water after his latest arrest. Sumter County Sheriff's deputies went looking for 47-year-old Jason Scott Harris at about 3:30 p.m. Tuesday at his home at 557 Cocker Court in the village of St. Catherine. Harris was wanted on a felony warrant out of Marion County, charging him with use of a two-way device to facilitate a felony. It was also learned that Harris had a Virginia driver's license, which had been suspended in 2014 after a conviction for driving under the influence. When deputies arrived at the home, they were greeted by Harris's wife, who said he would be returning shortly. Harris soon came driving up in a white 2012 Honda sedan. He was immediately taken into custody. A canine alerted on the Honda sedan, leading to the discovery of a bag in the center console. It contained a chewable gummy that tested positive for THC. Harris was arrested on drug possession and driving while license suspended. The Hampton, Virginia native was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center. Holds were put on his custody by Marion County and the state of Virginia. Bye-bye. A Facebook photo helped link a Stonecrester to a string of thefts at a nearby Walmart. Brenda Carroll Walkman, 61, was arrested Tuesday by Marion County Sheriff's deputies on 6 counts of theft. The Michigan native is accused of visiting the Summerfield store over the past 3 months and failing to scan merchandise when proceeding through the self-checkout lane. When are they going to learn to do away with these checkout lanes? The merchandise, which went unscanned during the 6 shopping trips, included a Shark vacuum cleaner, Michelob Ultralight beer, Miller Light beer, Mountain Dew, sour cream, salsa, and other items. Sounds like she's getting ready for a party. The incidents took place between October 15th and December 1. She used a debit card to pay for properly scanned items during the shopping trips. A Walmart loss prevention officer retrieved Walkman's name from the debit card transaction and obtained a license plate number for her vehicle. The loss prevention officer cross-referenced Walkman's name with Walkman's Facebook account and found her photos from Facebook matched the woman caught on surveillance in the self-checkout aisle. When Walkman was arrested at her home, she denied stealing the items. She said they must not have been scanned properly. The arrest report indicated she has no previous theft convictions. Walkman was taken into custody and booked at the Marion County Jail. She was released on $3,000 bond. I won't use them, and you know why I won't use them. But I could see where if the machine did make a mistake, and if you didn't watch carefully and walk out the door, this is what could happen. They'll charge you for theft because when you're scanning them, you're responsible. And that's why I won't do it. I'm not doing it. A daughter was arrested after allegedly attacking her 74-year-old mother and stealing her purse. Ashley Marie Baird, 38, was arrested on a felony charge of battery and a misdemeanor charge of theft on Tuesday, according to the arrest report. Baird's mother reported that her daughter had attacked her Sunday at her home at the Lakeshore Cottages in Lake Sumter Landing. She said the Flint, Michigan native grabbed her by the shoulders and slammed her to the ground. Baird dragged the older woman into the living room where she continued to beat her. Baird took the woman's purse, which held her red iPhone, and left the residence. Is this your mother? When a deputy interviewed the mother, the deputy noted the woman was very frightened at the prospect that Baird might return to the residence and cause her further harm. Baird later returned to the residence and her mother contacted the sheriff's office. Baird appeared to admit her wrongdoing when she told the deputy to take me to jail. Baird refused to talk about the alleged incident without a lawyer present. Yeah, that's her right. She was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center on a $52,000 bond. Mommy, don't do it. I know what you're thinking. Don't do it. This next story, this guy is another one that looks very familiar to me. I can never put a story to a face sometimes, or even a name for that matter, but I think this guy's been in trouble before. A man is heading to prison after a wild chase in a stolen fire truck in the Villages. Can you imagine? Steal a fire truck. Who are you going to outrun? You can't even hide. Jesse Charles Webb, 34, has been sentenced to 5 years in a Florida state prison. Good. Webb stole a bucket truck and then a golf cart in Lady Lake before happening upon the emergency response vehicle. Yeah, I know this guy. When Webb jumped into the emergency vehicle, its lights were activated because it was answering an emergency call. He drove the emergency vehicle with lights and sirens still activated over the Lake Sumter Bridge after ditching it at the properties of the village's sales center at Lake Sumter Landing. He was apprehended near Sonny's Barbecue at Lake Sumter Landing. A helicopter from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office had joined in the chase. Webb was arrested in 2019 after stealing a community watch vehicle. Yeah, I remember that. He was taken into custody after he crashed that vehicle. I think he crashed it into a rec center, right? Webb has a long criminal history and was arrested after holding a woman at knife point for several hours on New Year's Day in 2022 on the historic side of the Villages. She eventually broke free and ran to the gas station pleading for help. Officers arrested Webb in the carport of the St. Andrews Boulevard home where he was living. He had a bloody knife attached to his belt. Ladies, a villager's daughter, known for the epic battle with her father over the custody of her son, has landed back behind bars. Susan Elizabeth Newman, 47, was booked without bond on multiple probation violations Thursday at the Sumter County Detention Center. She is best known for the custody battle with her father. Charles Newman was barred from his own residence in 2018 after Susan Newman, who has a history of drug arrests, claimed he put both of his hands under her chin and squeezed tightly for 3 to 5 seconds, then spit in her face. Charles Newman admitted he did it out of frustration and was arrested on a charge of battery. In August of 2019, police were again called to Charles Newman's home. When they arrived, he asked that his daughter be administered a drug test because she was giving him hell. In 2020, Charles Newman accidentally started a fire at his home when he was heating oil to cook hash browns. Part of the story that's missing here, and I'll just throw it in here real quick. I'm not being critical. I'm not pointing fingers. I'm just kind of filling in a little bit of the blanks of the district rules here. He was fighting for custody for his grandson because she's a drug addict and her boyfriend at that time was a drug dealer. So I understand his plight here. I think he ended up getting custody, or at least temporary custody of the boy, and the boy stayed at his house in the Villages full time. And the boy was like, what was he at that time? I'll say 8 years old. Sad story in the Villages today. A villager was killed in a crash Saturday morning that left 4 others injured. The 76-year-old villager was driving a sport utility vehicle at 9:32 a.m. traveling east on Northwest 85th Loop at the intersection with U.S. Highway 441 in Marion County. She made a left turn in front of a pickup truck driven by a 38-year-old Ruskin man, according to the accident report. She had violated the right-of-way of the pickup truck, prompting a collision of the 2 vehicles. The villager was transported to Ocala Regional Medical Center where she died of injuries suffered in the crash. The pickup driver and a male passenger from Kennett Square, Pennsylvania were seriously injured. A second male passenger and a female passenger, also from Kennett Square, Pennsylvania, suffered minor injuries. Be careful down here in the wintertime. A lot of people come down here from the north in the winter. They're elderly. They can't hear, they can't see, they're distracted drivers. They're in their car, driving around, showing friends the Villages because they're proud of the Villages. They're looking over here, they're looking over there, they're pointing everywhere, saying, look over here, Alice. Oh, I used to live over there, and that Martha lives over there. They're not really watching what they're doing. And here's a good example of that. Just be careful. A clerk who allegedly sold beer to an underage purchaser claimed he'd only been in the United States for 2 days at the time of the sale. The Lake County Sheriff's Office Special Investigation Unit was conducting an operation to attempt purchases of alcoholic beverages to persons under the age of 21 when a confidential informant at about 5 p.m. Tuesday was sent into the Sunoco gas station at 2380 U.S. Highway 27441 in Fruitland Park. The informant took a 6-pack of Corona beer from the cooler and went to the counter and purchased it from 26-year-old Vishal Rameshabai Patel. Boy, these names down here. God. A deputy went into the gas station and asked Patel for identification, which he did not possess. The Indian-born Patel said he'd only been in the country for 2 days. He was arrested on a misdemeanor charge of sale of an alcoholic beverage to a person under the age of 21. He was booked at the Lake County Jail and released after posting a $500 bond. Did you guys take a good look at that picture? Look at it. If you owned a business and was looking for somebody to work there, would you even consider hiring this guy? Look how dirty he looks. I'm sorry. I'm throwing it out there. He's dirty. He's unkempt. And how do you hire somebody and not check them out? Driver's license, your form of ID. I thought that was the law in America. Here's a little bit of a happy note. The city of Wildwood will host its first ever New Year's fireworks show and outdoor party at the Millennium Park, the site of the Wildwood Community Center. We are really excited to offer this new event in response of the overwhelming and ever-growing demand for our annual 4th of July celebration. While it will be similar to the summer event in many ways, it will have some special extras for everyone to enjoy. In addition to the professional fireworks display, the New Year's party will feature Groove Slayers, a high-energy band from Orlando featuring horns, multiple vocalists, and harmonies, and a repertoire ranging from soul to pop. The event will also include a variety of food trucks, vendors, family-friendly games. For those of legal age with proper identification, adult beverages will be available for purchase. We are always looking for new ways to serve our residents, said Mayor Ed Wolf. As our population increases, our programming and services will continue growing in an effort to offer something for everyone who has chosen Wildwood as their home. You know, as big as the village is getting, I'm sometimes wondering when we'll annex Wildwood and make it a 55-plus community over there. Yeah, right. Here's an update on a story I think we done last week or maybe 2 weeks ago. A suspect has entered a plea after an alleged jealous outburst at the bar at the market at Sawgrass Grove in the Villages. Robert John Wozniak, 65, pleaded not guilty this past week in Sumter County Court to a felony charge of battery on a person over the age of 65. He remains free on a $2,000 bond. Here's another update on one we done last week, or again a couple weeks ago. I think it was last week. A villager has entered a plea following her arrest after drinking and dancing at a town square. Janet Melinda McKnight, 66, of the Ivy Stone Villas, pleaded not guilty this past week to a charge of driving under the influence in Sumter County Court. She remains free on a $1,000 bond. You remember her? Said she had a screw in her foot and couldn't do the walk in a straight line thing for the police officer after she just told him, I've been dancing for 2 hours. Evaluations winter 2024 softball season in the Villages will take place at 8 a.m. Tuesday, January 9 at the Buffalo Glen Softball Complex, weather permitting. No pre-registration is required. Bring your glove, photo ID, a Villages ID. Participants are encouraged to arrive 15 minutes prior to the start time. If you have any questions or need additional information, contact Saddlebrook Recreation Center at 352-259-5377. And good luck, all you softball players out there. It's a big deal here. Let's do a couple letters to the editor. I know the news is a little slow this week because of the holidays and everything. Most people, believe it or not, are good during the holidays. I know that's surprising, but I think they have company in. They got grandchildren that comes down for Christmas, so the drinking gets cut way back. The partying gets cut way back. So, you know, to the editor, a lot of new cars are equipped with touch screens to control many aspects of operating the functions of the car, radio, air conditioning, etc. It's my opinion, if you have to take your eyes off the road to operate your car, there is no difference from opening the touch screens and texting while driving. Bring back controls that have some kind of tactical feedback. That's sent in by Phil Berkowitz from the village of Tamarind Grove. Well, Phil, it ain't just your opinion, it's the law. To me, it's always been controversial. I don't understand it. I never did get it. I mean, I was trained as a CDL driver with UPS. We took training every week. For as long as you work there, you take training if you're a driver. And one of them is very simple. If you have to take your eyes off the road for more than, I think they said, 3 seconds, then that's distracted driving no matter what you're doing. Lighting a cigarette is distracted driving. That's the reason why UPS has the number one rule is no smoking in any UPS vehicle because it could cause wrecks. If you have to look at your radio to look for a channel, that's not preset or something, that's distracted driving. If you're talking to somebody in the back seat of your car and you're looking in the rearview mirror at them all the time and really not looking out the window. That's distracted driving. It's all distracted driving. Most people know it. It's just that these little habits we get into, we don't really think about it. I do it too. I mean, I'm not going to plead not guilty to all this stuff. I do it too. I go down the road, and especially with our radio in this new car, you guys have heard me complain about it. You got to go from here to there. I can't even sometimes figure out how to get to my favorite radio stations. I hate it because it's almost one of them things where I feel like I need to pull off the edge of the road and then find my radio station to continue. I don't like it. I'm with this guy. I'd rather have a push button radio where I know that the third knob over is my channel. I agree with you. I do agree with you. But it's not going to go anywhere. To the editor, having lived in a large community where the speed cameras were used and a revolt got them all removed, I think using them here is a horrible idea. That's sent in by Jim Pendergast from the village of Mallory Square. Well, Jim, I never heard anything about them putting speed cameras in the villages anyway, but I mean, maybe they have. I just haven't seen any reports about it. But if you're talking about 27 and 441, I think if you go down 27 and 441, if you pay any attention at all, we already have speed cameras on half of them stoplights now. You can always tell at night when you go down through there, and I can't tell you exactly which stoplight. I don't remember. I don't like 27 and 441. I just stay up, especially this time of year. I avoid it at all costs. But it is a good back way to get to Disney World. And so if I have to go down that area, I do go down 27, 441 to avoid a lot of the traffic. But at night, you'll see like this little blue-like light up there by the stoplight. It's not a very big light, but it's a little blue light. That's I think, an infrared light, and that's the camera. So they got you no matter what. You cross anything that's got a toll going over to the Sanford Orlando Airport. If you've got the what they call it, the Sun Pass, I got a Sun Pass. You go through where it automatically charges you. There's a camera right there. I take a picture of you as you go through. Takes a picture of your barcode. You go across a toll bridge anywhere in the United States. They take a picture of your license plate. They got you. So the idea of saying no cameras to be used, I don't like them either. Dude, I don't. But we're making it more and more demanding that we have to have them. Every store's got them. I don't know of any store you walk into to buy anything that you're not being videoed because of thieves. It's just the way it is. So as much as I kind of agree with what you're saying, I don't think it's going to happen either. How many holes in ones did we get this week? Looks like 3. A villager got an early Christmas gift when he got his first ever hole-in-one. Doug White of the village of Ashland played more than 1,000 rounds of executive golf in the villages before he finally got his first ace at hole number 1 at the Churchill Greens Executive Golf Course. Well, congratulations, Doug. The first one is always a thrill. A villager got his 3rd lifetime hole-in-one while golfing at the Links Club at Spruce Creek South. Spruce Creek South, by the way, is another retirement community kind of next door to the villages. Mike Conape of the village of Sanibel got the lucky ace Saturday at hole number 16 at 146 yards using a 4-iron. Those long irons sometimes can be tricky. Congratulations, Mike. A Middleton man got a hole-in-one while golfing with his father-in-law. Andre Pouillier got the lucky ace on December 16th at hole number 3 while golfing at the Lob Lolly Executive Golf Course. He was golfing with his father-in-law, Roy Haith, of the village of DeSoto. Well, congratulations, Andre, on your hole-in-one. Take your father-in-law out for a beer. I'm sure he'll enjoy it. Here's a little extra I'm going to add on to the end of the news. I reported, I don't even know, a month ago or something like that about the latest number I got was it started out at like 9 cars were broken into over at DeLuna, and then it went up to something like 11 cars. Now, all this is coming from people that I know over there, and it's pretty good evidence. I mean, to me, it's pretty substantiated because these people are solid as a rock. And there was like 2 cars being stolen. And then some more evidence came out that I was given, and it ended up being 3 cars were stolen. Now, these numbers go up and down. And I got a lot of email from a lot of people. Some of them were just curious. They were saying things like, you reported that, but we looked at all the newspapers, we've checked all the police blotters and blah, 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 and we can't find anything that says anything about it. So I went looking myself. I'm thinking, are these people calling me a liar? Because I take that personally when you do that. I take it pretty hard too, because the one thing I'm not is I ain't a liar. I don't pull punches. I tell you how it is. You can like it, you can not like it. That's totally up to you, but you're not going to be able to come back to me and say, you didn't tell me the truth, because I always tell you the truth. Problem is, people don't listen. They hear you, but they're not listening to you. I think I can get some information, but I got a feeling what they're going to tell me is that if it's under investigation, they can hold it back from the public. They don't have to tell you anything, except for maybe insurance purposes or things like that, I'm sure. And how that's done to keep it quiet, I don't know. But maybe they only talk directly to insurance companies or something. So anyway, I sent them information a while back under the Freedom of Information Act, requesting something to confirm that this happened. And I'm covering up a little bit of something up here because you don't need to see that. And I sent it to, and I'm sure you guys can see it, Wildwood Police right there. And I'll read it to you. And it's kind of what I thought they would say, but it's going to show you I don't lie. It says the request is not available at this time. They call me Dear Requester. I'm a Dear Requester. It says the request is not available at this time. The investigative status is active, ongoing, and not considered public record, according to FSS 119.071-2-C. The detectives has advised on December 3rd there were a total of 7 vehicles burglarized and 2 stolen vehicles. One of those 2 vehicles have been recovered. And that's sent to me by the records custodian from the Wildwood Police Department. It's got phone numbers and addresses. And so there you go. Now, these numbers changes as they investigate more and more. They might find it's not 7, it's 9. So don't worry about the numbers. Just know that when I reported it, it was the truth. As it was told to me at that time, 11 vehicles, 11 turns to 9. And apparently here, they're only admitting to, what was it, 7? 7 vehicles. Later, that number could be 9 when they decide to make it public record. We'll see. But I guess I got some information that nobody else got. So that being said, if you're not a Patreon member, please consider joining Patreon. That's what really keeps this channel going. Or you can be a YouTube member. YouTube membership starts at only 99 cents a month. I'd rather for you be Patreon though. It only starts at $2 a month. The reason is YouTube charges me, I think it's up to 32 or 33% now for memberships. So out of $1, they keep 33 cents roughly, maybe more than that now. I don't even pay attention. Where Patreon, they only charge me, what is it now? I don't even know that, truthfully. But I think it's something like around 3 or 4%. Maybe it's up to 5%. So far cry from 33%. And that's why I'd rather go there, because I get to keep most of my money. And so anyway, I'd rather for you to join Patreon if you can. If you can, don't worry about it. Just subscribe. And I also want to say we're getting back up there again, where my analytics is showing 62.5% of people watching my videos are not subscribed. Now, I know my regular people are subscribed. They check all the time because we always warn them about it. Check. YouTube makes upgrades, you get bumped off. I got bumped off from some channels that I'm subscribed to. I don't know why, but it's just a YouTube thing. And so if you're not getting notified like you think you are, the first thing you want to check, make sure you subscribed and hit that notification bell. Without that, you won't be notified. Now, another thing you can do, Sue suggested it, and it's a good idea, make sure your notifications on your cell phone is turned on, or otherwise all that is for nothing. But most of all, more than anything, watch the videos. That's really important. So with all that being said, I hope everybody had a good holiday. Hope everybody had a good New Year's, good Christmas. We did. We had a pretty good time. Weather here kind of sucked over Christmas. Kind of a little bit chilly and rainy, but hey, we're not complaining. So
don't leave your keys in the golf cart.